103.2 Preston FM.
We dare to be different.
Red Riding Hood, and on the line now, it gives me great pleasure. I've never spoken to Red Riding Hood before, so
hello.
Hello, it's Libby Edwards. So Libby, a very good afternoon to you.
And to you. Thank you for having me on.
It's just lovely to speak to you. And I mean, the nice thing is, Libby, that you are right at the forefront in the land of make-believe of bringing Little Red Riding Hood alive for children and for adults.
We are. We thought we'd choose a familiar theme so that it's something that everybody hopefully would be familiar with. And the name of our company is Magic Light Productions, so we do bring a lot of magic to the shows, as well as comedy, puppets and illusions. So hopefully there'll be something in it for everyone.
So Libby, tell us a little about Magic Light Productions. I mean, how many in the company? And I know you do a lot of touring. The company's been going for quite a few years now, hasn't it?
It has. The company was started in 2005 by Stuart and Jane Loshland, who are also known as Sapphire Illusionists. So they worked as illusionists for 25 years in the industry, 14 of which touring with the Chuckle Brothers, which the puppets are also in that we use. They make all the puppets as well. So they started doing pantomimes, which were very, very successful, sold out. The pantomime was at Theatre Colwyn in Colwyn Bay. So this year and next year, we wanted to take a children's show in the same format as a pantomime, but something that can be enjoyed throughout the year, really.
So is the story the one that we all know from childhood, or have you updated it? Is there lots of little twists? Because as you say, there's puppets, there's song and dance, magic within the show.
Yes, we've stuck to the traditional tale that everybody will know, but we have put in the puppets, and we have some magic and illusions within the traditional story, if you like. So we've sort of created opportunities for them to happen, just to make it something different, and so that there is something for everyone, and to make it magical.
Yes, and of course, artists are frequently told never work with children or animals. But so, what's it like working with children, Libby?
I enjoy it. I mean, at the moment, the puppets are I'm actually doing puppet masterclasses at West End Summer School, which lots and lots of children are at, and it's lovely because they really appreciate the magic of theatre. So I enjoy it a lot.
I mean, there is nothing like, is there, for very young children? Well, also still adults, because I love going to the theatre, and I'm sure lots of the parents who come along with children to see Red Riding Hood feel the same. But I mean, as a young child, that experience of going to the theatre, there is nothing like it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what made me make the decision to go into the theatre at a very young age. I saw a pantomime, and I just got lost in the magic of it, and I thought I want to be a part of that. So that's where my love of theatre came from. So that's why we do put in, obviously, as well as the magic and the puppets, comedy that will also be appreciated by the parents, who will inevitably be bringing the children along. So we do want to make it appeal to everyone, no matter what your age.
And I mean, you're already on the road at the moment, because you're coming over to Blackburn in a few weeks' time, and then next year you're nearby at Lytham St Anne's. So it's quite an extensive tour that you're doing. Does it just play the same across the country? I mean, are children the same wherever you go when they see Little Red Riding Hood?
They are. I mean, we hope our first performance will be at Blackburn on the 13th of September at 2:30. So we will sort of bring it alive there, and then from there we will go to Retford. So it's just the 2 performances this year, and then next year is the more extensive UK tour. All the dates are on our website, magiclightproductions.com. So we will see how everybody reacts as we go along, really.
Yeah. So how did you yourself get involved with the theatre then, Libby?
As I say, I asked to be part of the pantomime when I was 6, so I went along and auditioned as a dancer. Not a particularly good one, but it got me into the theatre, and it was the acting that I fell in love with. So I continued to do it from all the way through school, and then left school at 16 to join a touring theatre company where I learnt a lot, and then went on to train, went to London to do a postgraduate acting course, and I've worked more and more with Magic Light Productions in the pantomimes, and now with Red Riding Hood, and also puppeteering for them across the years as well.
And some of the others in the company, who are the others who are performing in Red Riding Hood?
As I say, Stuart and Jane, who began the company, are performing in it. Stuart plays the Granny, who we have created in the style of a pantomime dame. So he'll be Granny Hood. We've got Jane Laughland, who's playing the Fairy, Steve Bloor as Muddles, myself as Red Riding Hood, and then we also have the Wolf.
Yes.
So that's the company for this particular tour.
And what is really nice is the fact that the company keeps pantomime alive, because, I mean, for a game, particularly for children, but also for adults, I mean, pantomime staple diet in this country, but more and more we're seeing pantomime throughout the year, which of course we did in Victorian times. Even though we think of pantomime as being Christmas, of course pantomime in Victorian times was any time of the year, and we're beginning to see a little more of that these days, which is really good.
Absolutely, I think it's so important as a tradition, of course, but because it does involve so many, it almost is a variety show in the sense there's so many things involved, which I do think gives it legs to survive all year, really. So that's why we have listed the format of a pantomime to base Red Riding Hood on.
So are the rehearsals continuing at the moment? The rehearsals, is it all now ready for the 13th of September?
Well, we are, as I say, I'm actually away doing puppet workshops in London at the moment. As soon as we get back this Friday, and then it's all systems go with rehearsals. All the costumes and the set for the show are all made in-house. So we're part of the rehearsal process will be getting all that up and ready to go, and then we will just do an intensive rehearsal period before the show, and then go on the road with it.
Yes, and I know that you've appeared, or the company has, over there at Theatre Colwyn, somewhere I've not been for a long, long time. Is it a Welsh company?
It is. We are Welsh ourselves, but we don't do it at the moment. We don't do performances in Welsh, but we are all based in North Wales, so we're all based in Colwyn Bay. So that's where it all sort of all the rehearsals and the making of all the sets and costumes happen, and everything's stored, and then we then take it on the road. So yeah, that is very much our base.
Lovely. So do you think there may be Welsh productions in the future?
Perhaps, yeah. I might need to. I am Welsh speaking, but only second language, so I probably would have to scrub up my Welsh. But yes, possibly in the future. You never know.
Lovely. Well, as I say, for our listeners can come along and see the first opportunity not far from Preston is the 13th of September at the Thwaites Empire in Blackburn. And then you return in February, 20th of February, to the Lowther Pavilion. Friends of ours at Preston FM have a nice relationship with the staff up there at Lowther Pavilion. And that's on the 20th of February. If listeners want to find out more about Red Riding Hood and about the company, where's the best place to go, Libby?
The best place would be the website, which is www.magiclightsproductions.com. From that website, there are links to our sister sites. As I say, we've got the Puppet Company and the Illusion Act and everything else. So that's probably the best place to go to find out. All the dates are listed there as well.
And from your own childhood, what was your favourite story? My
favourite story? Oh, that's a good question. I I mean, the one that sticks in my head, I always loved, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, really, which sounds a coincidence because that's our pantomime this year. But I do remember that was the one that I always wanted in as a book and on video, and that was the one that really sticks in my head as a child.
And this is why it is so important, isn't it, that we keep theatre alive, because like you and the ones that I can remember, it just brings it to life for very young children. I bet they love seeing the production on stage.
I hope so. I mean, the reactions we get from the pantomimes especially are absolutely fantastic, and it's often a child's, as you say, first introduction to the theatre, which is why it's remembered so much, often quite a first memory of the theatre. So I believe very, very strongly in keeping it alive.
Right, well, thank you, Libby, for taking time out on Bank Holiday Monday to talk to us at Preston FM.
Thank you for having me on. Lovely to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you, Libby. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Made by people like you.
Your community.
Your radio.
Your Preston FM.